Greetings everybody, Brother Nick here, and today is the 365th day of the solar cycle. We are waiting for the sign, the great sign of the turning of the year. And right now I want to talk about a very cryptic passage, but it's very detailed, but at the same time cryptic. In this video I'm going to be sharing a different interpretation, specifically what is this verse speaking of? The night of my pleasure hath he turned into fear unto me. So, this night of pleasure that had been turned into fear unto him, what day is this? Let's go ahead and read it from the beginning. The burden of the desert of the sea, as whirlwinds in the south pass through, so it cometh from the desert, from a terrible land. A grievous vision is declared unto me. The treacherous dealer dealeth treacherously, and the spoiler spoileth. Go up, O Elam, which is Iran. Besiege, O Media, which is Iran. All the sighing thereof have I made to cease. So why is Elam and Media, which is modern day Iran, why are they sighing? Why are they sighing? Could it be because of the coronavirus outbreak? Could it be because of the immense amount of financial sanctions that have been imposed on the country, causing poverty, causing just all of the problems to your average day person there? So it's going to reach a point that Iran isn't going to take it anymore. And remember, I did a video earlier, and it's on a scripture, that Iran, Persia, their device is against Babylon. So Elam and Media, that's Persia, and their device is against Babylon. Therefore are my loins filled with pain. Pangs, birth pangs, have taken hold upon me, as the pangs of a woman that travaileth. I was bowed down at the hearing of it. I was dismayed at the seeing of it. So possibly could be some sort of device or use of this device. And they're going to besiege. Elam and Media is going to besiege. Besiege who? Who are they trying to besiege? Do they have a bunch of enemies? They're Persians, but they're Arab neighbors across the sea in the desert, talking about Saudi Arabia, talking about the United Arab Emirates. Even though they're Islamic brothers, Muslim brothers, they haven't been treating them like brothers. They haven't been treating them like neighbors. They haven't been giving them this respect, because these countries are all addicted to the petrodollar, and they have all adopted the United States policy towards Iran. And so there is huge regional conflict. Iran doesn't want the regional conflict. They view them as brothers, but these people they've been compromised by the United States of America and allied with the United States of America, dependent on the United States of America, and their kingdoms are dependent on the United States of America, and they are treating their neighbors really bad. So this is something that is going to be extremely big. This is going to shock the entire world. The prophet, when he saw this, he was bowed down at the hearing of what just happened. He was dismayed at the seeing of this vision of when Elam and Media, when Iran is going to launch their preemptive strike. Now everybody says, oh, the treacherous dealer dealeth treacherously, and the spoiler spoileth. Well, they say, well, Donald Trump wrote The Art of the Deal, but Donald Trump also tweeted that Iran has never won a war, and they never lost a negotiation. That's pretty treacherous dealing for Iran to do that. But all I know, maybe this is a very hard passage to interpret, but it appears, okay, so now, the prophet was dismayed at the seeing of it. He said, my heart panted, fearfulness affrighted me. The night of my pleasure hath he turned into fear unto me. A lot of people believe that this night of the pleasure was Purim, and that it was going to be according to that Jewish calendar, which we've proven to be false, proven Purim to be false. we have proven Purim false. We've proven the calendar false on my calendar. And when I say we, I'm talking about me and my brothers and sisters in Master Messiah Yeshua. As iron sharpens iron, we have done this together. Now, with that being said, so whose night of pleasure is it? This is the question. What is the context of it? This is a challenge to me because I don't read Hebrew, so I can't read that. I'm just doing my best to try to interpret it. The Iranians have two calendars. They have the Islamic calendar, they have the Gregorian calendar, and I guess they have a third calendar, which is the calendar of the ancient Persian calendar, part of the Zoroastrian religion before it became an Islamic empire, part of the Islamic caliphate or whatever happened there. And in that calendar is 365 days, and they measure the equinox, and the equinox is extremely important. So this is the 365-day calendar is actually also matches the solar cycle. Unlike Yahweh Elohim's calendar, which is 364 days on a 365-day calendar, or on a 365-day solar cycle. So the day of the sun, the day of the great sign on the earth, which is the spring equinox, is not accounted for. And then every fourth year there is a leap year, just similar to how the Gregorian is, or a leap day, I should say. So, what is this night of pleasure? Well, one of the most biggest festivals of the year in the Iranian or Persian culture is a holiday called Nowruz. Nowruz, if I said it correctly, Nowruz. And this is their New Year's party. This is to dealing with the spring equinox. So Nick, where are you going with this night of pleasure? Well, this is a night of pleasure. This celebration, that night that they have to celebrate this holiday. It's a huge holiday in Iran. And it's the perfect time to launch a psychological warfare attack and start a preemptive strike on Iran. Right now, they're stricken with coronavirus, and their economy has pulverized, grinded down, and almost obliterated. And so it's perfect time to try to have a preemptive strike and then try to topple the government after a preemptive strike, and hopefully that the people would resist. But there's this coronavirus going on. This is Javad Zarif. He is the foreign minister of Iran, and he has a very difficult job. He does a really good job at what he does. And he gave a message on his YouTube channel. It's pretty cool that he does YouTube videos once in a while and goes directly to the public with his messages that he has. And he is talking about the fact that they can't even buy medical. The United States has put medical sanctions on Iran where they can't even buy medical supplies to treat all of the coronavirus patients. And they have many and they can't get medical supplies because they are sanctioned by the U.S. government. These companies don't want to do business with Iran out of fear of penalty of the United States of America. And so they are in a really bad situation as a country dealing with this virus and dealing with all of these things. And he is saying that these are inhumane actions of what's being done on Iran. Remember, my video, again, quantum bomb, Iran's secret weapon against USA, Israel, Saudi Arabia, United Arab Emirates, Babylon system, possibly. Persia's device is against Babylon. It says, Isaiah says, prepare the table, watch in the watchtower, eat, drink, arise, ye princes, and anoint the shield. For thus hath Yahweh said unto me, go, set a watchman, let him declare what he seeth. Now we know the watchman is the Ezekiel type. And he saw, who saw? The watchman. He saw a chariot with a couple of horsemen, a chariot of asses, that's donkeys, a chariot of camels. And he hearkened diligently with much heed. And he cried, a lion, my Master. I stand continually upon the watchtower in the daytime, and and I am set in my ward whole nights. It's almost 2 a.m. over here right now, so I can relate. And behold, here cometh the chariot of men with a couple of horsemen. And he answered and said, Babylon is fallen, and all the graven images of her gods he hath broken unto the ground. O my threshing and the corn of my floor, that which I have heard of Yahweh of hosts, the Elohim of Israel, have I declared unto you. So who are these right here? The chariot of multiple asses, it's plural, so there's two at least. I would say that to be Jordan and, Lebanon, where Hezbollah is. As far as the chariot of camels, plural camels, two at least, okay? I would say that the chariot of camels is possibly Elam and Media, which is Iran and maybe some Iraqi insurgents as well. But that would be two. As far as the chariot with a couple of horsemen, I would believe that would be Meshech and Tubal. So that would be Turkey and Russia from Ezekiel 32. See, Ezekiel 32 has to happen first. And then, once Israel's back and regathered in the land, then a few years later or sometime later, that's when Yahweh puts hooks in his mouth and brings them back in the land again for the Ezekiel 38 and 39 battle. Is everything in Ezekiel, I believe, from Ezekiel 33 on up to 38 and 39 all the way, it's all chronological. It looks like from about chapter 32 through 33 through 39, it's all chronological. And from chapter 40 of Ezekiel to all the way to the end of 48, well, that's a millennial reign, and that's all that section right there. But this section, I believe, is chronological. And I just talked about this in my last video about the sword and the coming sword. Well, what sword? He sharpens the sword, and the sword of Yahweh is mentioned all throughout the scriptures. But here in Ezekiel 21, it's very detailed of what it is. And the word of Yahweh came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face towards Jerusalem, and drop thy word toward the holy places, and prophesy against the land of Israel. And say to the land of Israel, Thus saith Yahweh, Behold, I am against thee, and will draw forth my sword out of his sheath, and will cut off from thee the righteous and the wicked. So both the righteous and the wicked are being cut off together in this. Seeing then that I will cut off from thee the righteous and the wicked, therefore shall my sword go forth out of his sheath against all flesh, from the south, which is the Negev, to the north, that all flesh may know that I, Yahweh, have drawn forth my sword out of his sheath, and it shall not return any more. Sigh therefore, son of man, with the breaking of thy loins, and with the bitterness sigh before their eyes. And it shall be, when they say unto thee, Wherefore sighest thou? That thou shalt answer, For the tidings, because it cometh. And every heart shall melt, and all hands shall be feeble, and every spirit shall faint, and all knees shall be weak as water. Behold, it cometh, and it shall be brought to pass, saith Yahweh Elohim. And then again, the word of Yahweh came unto me, saying, Son of man, prophesy, thus saith Yahweh, say, a sword is sharpened, and also furbished. It is sharpened to make a sore slaughter. It is furbished, that it may glitter. Should we then make mirth? It contemneth the rod of my son, as every tree. And he hath given it to be furbished, that it may be handled. This sword is sharpened, and it is furbished, to give it into the hand of the slayer. The hand of the slayer is the rider of the red horse. And when kings go out for war, is on this day, the day of the spring equinox, and I suspect possibly tomorrow, starting on the 1st, maybe we'll see a build-up into this war. I don't think that the sword is coming exactly tomorrow. I think the escape happens first. There's going to be some time for everybody to realize that they missed the escape. And then there's going to be a gradual build-up to the sword and when the sword comes. And I suspect that this sword has something to do with Isaiah chapter 21. That we have just been reading at the beginning, which causes Elam and Media to go up and to besiege. And then they caused terror in the land of the living, which is Ezekiel 32. And that's the flood that's going to be coming. So let's get back to that. Okay, so we have Meshach and Tubal, which is the horsemen. Okay, we have the chariot of asses, which is Lebanon and Jordan. We have a chariot of camels. It's going to be Elam and Media, or modern day Iran, and some insurgents from Iraq. And then it says, he cried, a lion, my master. A lion. Well, who's the lion? The lion is al-Assad. Al-Assad, the lion. Bashar al-Assad and Syria, this Assyrian. And I stand continually upon my watchtower in the daytime, and I'm set in my ward the whole nights. And behold, here cometh a chariot of men, men with a couple of horsemen. Which horsemen? How about the horsemen of the red horse, the horsemen of the black horse, and the horsemen of the gray horse, or the grizzlied and speckled horse of Zechariah chapter 1, and Revelation, the second, third, and fourth seals. So the rider of the red horse and the rider of the black horse, that's the couple of horsemen. Now, who's the chariot of men? Well, that's interesting. Possibly I would say that it would be the prophet Daniel and the prophet John, the two witnesses. And he answered and said, Babylon is fallen, and all the graven images of her gods he hath broken unto the ground. O my threshing, the corn of my floor, that which I have heard of Yahweh of hosts, the Elohim of Israel, have I declared unto you. So, I don't know the day. We're watching, and I'm looking for where this day could possibly fit. I believe that this is the correct interpretation as to the players involved of Isaiah chapter 21, that it's going to be the same players of Ezekiel chapter 32 in my last video that I just produced about the rider of the red horse and the sword, the great sword that's going to be coming upon in the land of the living. And Yahweh's going to judge, take the righteous and the wicked together. If it happens, everyone's been warned.